Friends, when you open the map of Europe, it is impossible not to notice that small, strange piece of land completely cut off from the rest. Kaliningrad, once known as Königsberg. For years, the world was told that this region was Russia's dagger pointed at the heart of Europe. Nuclear missiles, intimidating bases, and powerful fleets were supposed to make it untouchable. But look closely at the map today. That dagger has not become stronger. It has become trapped. Imagine a room where the door has been locked from the outside and the key thrown into the sea. That is Kaliningrad today. The threat has been replaced by helplessness. Poland and Lithuania have effectively shut the doors. Warsaw has made decisions that sent chills through the Kremlin. Borders are tightening. Routes are closing. What once looked like a strategic fortress now looks like an isolated cage. And this is not symbolism. This is reality unfolding in real time. What is happening here is not just politics. It is a strategic siege without tanks, without missiles, but with devastating consequences. At the Lithuanian border, the situation has descended into chaos. Thousands of trucks are now stranded on Belarusian soil. Long lines stretching for miles. Engines turned off. Drivers waiting in freezing temperatures. Cargo unable to move. This is not a routine customs delay. This is the choking of Russia's last land connection to Europe. Until recently, sanctions were something written on paper. Now they are being felt on the asphalt. Logistics is the lifeblood of any army, any economy. When trucks stop moving, everything stops moving. On Mr. Warlog today, we look beyond official statements. We expose how Russia's strategic stronghold is turning into an open-air prison. The goods stuck at the borders are not just consumer products. They include spare parts, industrial equipment, medical supplies, and technology critical to both civilian life and military operations. When logistics collapses, shortages begin. When shortages begin, suffering follows. And this is exactly the chain reaction now unfolding around Kaliningrad. Let us understand the geography. Kaliningrad is an exclave. It has no direct land connection to mainland Russia. It is surrounded by NATO countries. Poland to the south, Lithuania to the east. That means Russia only had two land routes to reach it. Through Poland or through Lithuania. Poland has now effectively shut the southern gate. The target is not tourism. The real target is logistics. Dual-use goods, chips, spare parts, and industrial components were being smuggled across these routes. That pipeline has now been cut. The gate is closed. Completely. Lithuania, meanwhile, has tightened inspections and restrictions to an extreme level. Every truck is searched. Many are denied passage. Belarus retaliates by holding vehicles hostage. The result is paralysis. Kaliningrad. Companies bleed money. Essential goods never arrive. And when you add restrictions on rail transport, quotas, and bureaucratic blockades, Kaliningrad's isolation becomes total. A city of 1 million people now feels abandoned, cut off, forgotten. So what remains? Only the sea. Russia must now rely on ferries from St. Petersburg. But here too the system is collapsing. There are not enough ships. The ones that exist are prioritized for military cargo. Civilian needs are secondary. Construction materials have vanished. Cement is unavailable. Prices have tripled. Medicines are scarce. Even baby formula has become difficult to find. Citizens are struggling. Businesses are collapsing. Kaliningrad, once presented as Russia's European showcase, now resembles the shortages of the late Soviet era. And this is not just a regional issue. It is part of a wider crisis. Russia's entire logistics network is cracking. A tank may be produced inside Russia, but its components depend on imported technology. Ball bearings, chips, rubber, industrial chemicals. When European routes close, the supply chain collapses. One-stop truck can eventually silence an artillery unit weeks later. This is the brutal power of logistics failure. And the Kremlin has no solution. For years, Moscow told its people that even if land routes closed, the Baltic Fleet and civilian ferries would save Kaliningrad. That was the Plan B. But Plan B has proven to be a lie. Years of corruption, neglect, and sanctions have destroyed Russia's merchant fleet. Experts say a region like Kaliningrad requires at least 20 to 25 large cargo ships operating continuously. In reality, only 4 or 5 are functional. And who gets priority? Not civilians. The military does. Food, medicine, construction supplies wait for weeks at ports while ammunition and equipment move first. Drivers sleep in their trucks. Goods spoil. The economy rots. This is betrayal. The state has sacrificed its own citizens for military symbolism. And the consequences are severe. A black market has emerged. Prices for basic materials like cement have exploded. Construction has collapsed. Thousands have lost their jobs. Unfinished buildings now stand like monuments to broken promises. Kaliningrad is no longer just suffering inflation. It is experiencing economic decay. There is a deep historical irony here. For years, Russian strategists spoke of the Suwalki corridor as NATO's weakest point. They threatened to seize it, to link Kaliningrad with Belarus, to split Europe in two. They used this corridor as blackmail. But what happened instead? Poland and Lithuania fortified it. NATO strengthened it. What was meant to be a weapon became a wall. Russia's threats forced its neighbors to lock the doors tighter. This is strategic self-destruction. Kaliningrad was meant to be a Trojan horse inside Europe. Instead, it has become a sealed box. NATO did not invade it. They simply closed the exits. And now, the soldiers and civilians inside are paying the price. This is one of the greatest geopolitical backfires of modern times. An empire that tried to intimidate others has ended up trapping itself. But the most dangerous consequences are not military. They are psychological. Among the people of Kaliningrad, especially the younger generation, a quiet identity crisis is growing. For years, prosperity kept these questions silent. But now, as isolation deepens, the question returns: are we truly part of Russia, or are we Europeans who speak Russian? When Moscow abandons them to shortages and hardship, resentment grows. Whispers of autonomy, of federalization, even of independence. Analysts note that loyalty to Moscow is weakening. Social media discussions reflect frustration, anger, and a sense of betrayal. The Kremlin knows this. That is why FSB agents are constantly deployed. Governors are replaced. Local identities are suppressed. But repression cannot fill empty shelves. You cannot silence hunger with surveillance. When economic collapse combines with identity crisis, the stability of any region becomes fragile. History teaches us that when central authority weakens, the outer regions fracture first. Kaliningrad is geographically detached. Now it is becoming emotionally detached as well. And that is a nightmare scenario for Moscow. In the end, Kaliningrad has become the symbol of Russia's helplessness. You can have missiles. You can have armies. But when borders close and logistics fail, power becomes meaningless. Poland's decisions, Lithuania's enforcement, the chaos in Belarus. Together, they have created one of the most effective sieges in modern history without firing a single shot. Citizens suffer. Soldiers lack supplies. Industry stalls. Kaliningrad was once Russia's strongest outpost in Europe. Today, it is Russia's hostage in Europe. This crisis is more dangerous than a battlefield defeat. Armies can recover. But when logistics collapses, when the economy rots, when loyalty breaks, the state itself begins to weaken. The Russian bear is not entering hibernation. It is slipping into a logistical coma. And this small piece of land on the map, once feared by Europe, is now revealing the deeper cracks inside the Russian system. I am Mr. WarlogicX, and we will continue to expose the truth beyond the borders.